Welcome everybody to Zero to Income. We're glad to have you here. I'm Sean. I'm here with Dana, and we're helping you get your businesses started.
We want to help you move from financial dependence to financial freedom.
From dreaming to achieving.
From blindly following the masses to being an independent thinker.
From zero to income.
Welcome to the Zero to Income podcast. My name's Dana, and we are looking at a passage in Matthew. We are going through the Sermon on the Mount. As we study this, as we go through this, we are only taking a surface level approach, but we are demonstrating how the expectation that Christ has for us in business is superior to the calling of this world, to be different than others in as far as the world standpoint goes, in the respect to how we treat each other, how we run our businesses, how we live our lives in general. Because what we find a lot of times is that in this world, as we look at businesses and those that claim to be Christian business people, we see a delineation, a separation from their Christian living and their spiritual well-being and their business. And the two are the same, because if we are Christians in the workplace, if we are following the commands of Christ, then the outpouring of Christ's new life in us is going to be reflected in our business. So we're taking this, we're going through the words of Christ, reading through the various sections of the Sermon on the Mount. And again, this is at a very high level. I know that I started right off digging right in. I hope that you all had a great Thanksgiving break. I hope that you were able to take a break during Thanksgiving and spend some time with family, get recharged. And then let's dive in though right now with this passage on salt and light. This is Matthew 5, verses 13 through 16. You are the salt of the earth, but if salt has lost its taste, how shall its saltiness be restored? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled under people's feet. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a stand, and it gives light to all in the house. In the same way, your light should shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. I mentioned before that, and this is going to be, you're going to hear this a lot. This podcast is going to be an echo chamber for this. So if this rubs your fur the wrong way, then hey, go find a different podcast to listen to. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm just going to tell you like it is, how I've seen it. And that is, there's this delineation I've mentioned. We look at the words of Christ and we say, well, that doesn't really apply to business. So we come up with these excuses to operate a certain way in our businesses, but then to operate a different way when we're inside the church. And for many of us, the church basically means the building that we go to once a week, maybe not even once a week, and expect that somehow magically our life is going to be changed by listening to some music and a 30, 45 minute, whatever, maybe an hour sermon, and then going home. I really hope that you understand that living for the Lord, living a renewed life in Him, is not going to church once a week. It's letting Him restore you. It's letting Him reinvigorate your soul. It's It's an uncalibration to the things of the world and a recalibration to the things of the Lord. And our lives should be different. It should impact not just this once a week thing that we go to that we think somehow magically we're going to be changed at. And I'm not undermining church messages, worship together as the body. I think that all of that is super important. I think Scripture is clear on this. However, if we think that a 1 hour impact is going to change our lives, I think we're grossly mistaken. When we come back, we're going to dig into these verses a little bit. And like I said, we're just going to take a high level approach, but there's some interesting things in here we need to observe. Sean and I would like to invite you to say goodbye to spending countless hours and countless dollars in trying to launch your business. Personally, I've spent over $20,000 on 2 ideas trying to get them launched with companies that promised to help me all along the way, only to find that things were very complicated, they were guessing, and neither of them truly helped me launch my business. Sean and I discovered that there are very easy tools, very easy ways for you to get your business launched, and we invite you to take part of that. Join us on this adventure. Go to zerotoincome.com to learn more. ZERO, the number 2, income.com, and learn more. All right, let's dig verse by verse into this, statement by statement. You are the salt of the earth. There's a different kind of life that Christ is calling us into. A life that now, all of a sudden, he's speaking to his disciples, maybe other people, maybe a multitude here. We're not exactly sure how the Sermon on the Mount, what we call the Sermon on the Mount, was assembled. It might have been a bunch of short sermons put together. It might have been that this was one big, and if you've watched The Chosen, you see Jesus come forth and he's going through all of these things. We don't know that was exactly how this was recorded. But what we do know is that these are the words of Christ. You are the salt of the earth. You should be different. It's a seasoning, a better seasoning. And the earth is going to look to you as believers, as followers of Christ. But if salt has lost its taste, how shall its saltiness be restored? It's going to be thrown out, right? Is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled under people's feet. You might as well use it for ice melt if you live in a cold environment and you have snow and ice. And we're traveling right now, and I know you probably have had to put up with my audio. It's not great. I'm using literally a $35 mic as we're traveling, but I'm looking outside a window and I see ice and snow on the ground. Throw it on the ground. Throw it on the ice, trampled under people's feet. Then he goes on, you are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden, nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a stand, and it gives light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. When we think in our business perspective, are we thinking, I'm going to pursue the living true God. I'm going to pursue Christ. I am going to be obedient to what he tells me to do. I'm going to let that be a light in the workplace. Or do we still have that delineation where I am this certain person around certain people, but when I'm around my business people, I'm somebody else? You're hiding that light under a basket when you're in the workplace because you're afraid. It could be fear. Well, it could be a lot of different things, but definitely fear could be one of them. What will people think? I'm thinking of a DC Talk song. What will people think if they hear that I'm a Jesus freak? What will people do when they find out it's true? So we have this fear, like if we live this life, then all of a sudden we're going to be undermined in the workplace. Maybe we even feel like we will be shunned. Maybe we feel like we will lose business. Jesus doesn't say, you're the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. But if you think that the world is not going to receive your light, then hide it. That's not what he says. He says it must be put out there. And we're taking bold steps. I want you to know that as Sean and I have thought about zero to income and our approach and how we're getting this business out there, we know that God gets all the glory. We know now. Does that automatically say that we need to be kind of like Jesus freaks of business and out there and it's all about Jesus and it's all about God and it's all about serving him? And no, businesses have different avenues that they're pursuing. However, the lifestyle, the light should be there. And as Sean and I have thought about this business model with zero to income, we're on the same page. We're going to allow the Lord to rule and to reign. And we need people like you. We need listeners like you who are saying, yeah, man, go for it. We're with you. We hear you. And to keep us accountable to that effect as well. Because if we allow ourselves to dampen the light that God has inspired us with, this burning that we have in our soul, we know that the Lord is going to give the increase in our business. So we're not concerned about it from that perspective. We're concerned about it like, Lord, how can I be obedient and serve other people? We hope that as you think about business, that's your approach as well. And let's let the Lord take priority. Let's put him on the pedestal and let's make sure that candle is lit. It doesn't have to mean that we're in people's faces all the time and all of that. However, we should be unashamed, and we should be, if there's opportunity to share with those around us, and the Lord is putting that opportunity in our laps, let's embrace it for the kingdom of the Lord. And let's think about ourselves as being that salt and that light that the Lord wants us to be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, not just for an hour on Sunday. I hope that you find this encouraging and have a blessed day. Bye. On behalf of Sean Elliott and myself, Dana Morrison, we'd like to say thank you sincerely for listening to this episode. We hope that it helps you on your entrepreneurial journey. Truly thank you for being here. If you would like to learn more about zero to income and be informed as tools and resources are released, we hope that you will take the time to get on the mailing list. Just go to zerotoincome.com, ZERO, the number 2, income.com, and get on the mailing list to be informed as tools and resources are released. If you like this episode, we hope that you will like it, review it, share it with those around you that are entrepreneurial minded. Thank you so much for being here.